This is the Secure Family Podcast. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the host and founder of The Secure Dad. This show is all about empowering parents to protect themselves and their family. I believe that security is the foundation of happiness, and I want your family to be safe and happy. If that sounds like something that really resonates with you, subscribe to the show because there's always something new to talk about. The information that I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today on the podcast, I'm going to be talking about extreme heat, and this is not something to be underestimated, because this is something that is going to affect all of us. If you live in a desert or you live in a milder climate, this is something we all have to face. All of that and more coming up on the Secure Family Podcast. I've been warning people for a long time that someone can misuse data broker information to stalk and hurt you. Last month, we saw this come to light with the horrific attack on two lawmakers. The alleged attacker researched his targets and their families. In one of the notebooks he kept, police discovered the names of 11 common people search sites. Removing yourself from data broker sites is necessary to keep your privacy, and now it's imperative for your personal safety. This is where Delete Me can help. They will remove your data from hundreds of data broker sites, giving you a form of digital self-defense. Right now, you can get 20% off your Delete Me plan. Just go to joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/dad, code DAD. I don't know where you are, but where I am, it is really hot. In fact, I wrote this podcast this morning, then spent 3 hours outside. I'm still trying to cool off while I'm recording this episode. So today is something that is very much on my mind and on the mind of a lot of people right now, because I feel like we're seeing some really extreme heat conditions in the U.S. right now. So last summer, our air conditioning stopped working upstairs in conditions much like we have today. It was hot, humid, and honestly, not the best time for our AC to go out. Now, thankfully, we have 2 units, one for each floor of the house. So for a few days, the upstairs wasn't usable while the sun was up, and even at night, it was still pretty rough too. But that's the trade-off for living in the Southeast. We have wonderful food and culture and beautiful places, but it is hot and it is humid here. And to make it worse, the part that we needed to fix my AC unit was discontinued because the unit was old, and the part had to come from a warehouse in Atlanta. So it took a while for this issue to get solved. But in the meantime, my family did a few things differently, and we made the best of it. Plus, we're used to dealing with power outages during hurricane season. Oh yeah, we have hurricanes too. So today, I just want to share with you how you can manage this heat that we're getting in 2025, how you can make sure that your AC system is running smoothly, and what you need to do in the event that you lose power or AC at home, because heat exhaustion is not to be played with, and issues with heat are dangerous, especially for children. We can't forget that heat is one of the deadliest weather hazards that we have in the U.S. This is especially true in places that are typically cooler and may not have air conditioning set up to deal with increased temperatures. And let's face it, not everybody can afford to fix their AC when it goes out, so cooler climates may actually be more affected by a heat wave than hotter places like Texas and Louisiana. And another problem that I will admit is that I think that a day less than 95 degrees isn't dangerous. And that's just not the case. There are other weather factors that you need to consider that go along with temperature, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So now I'm going to say it. Are you ready? I'm going to say the most dad thing that you think I can say. Here it comes. It's not the heat that gets you. It's the humidity. I said it. That's right. I said it. I think we all feel better now. But my point is that 95 degrees and low humidity is much better than 95 degrees with 70% humidity. So 95 in Phoenix is much different than 95 in Miami. Humidity drives up body temperature because it affects how we sweat. And if you can't cool off naturally, that's going to be a big problem. And that's what makes heat index so relevant to our safety in the summer. I didn't know this until recently, but a heat index measures how hot it feels when relative humidity is combined with the actual air temperature. So in short, it tells you how the temperature feels to your body, taking into account the humidity's effect on how our bodies cool themselves by sweating. It's actually a pretty cool thing. So for a quick example, 94 degrees with 50% humidity feels like 103. But 94 with 70% humidity feels like 119. And both of those are considered to be dangerous levels of the heat index. All of this to say, we can't ignore all of the weather factors this summer. There's a lot more to do with it than just the temperature alone. Also, heat affects us all in our own different ways, and heat hits kids much differently than it does adults. Remember that kids don't have as many or active sweat glands as adults do. A lot of times as a dad, I dismiss my son's discomfort in heat, completely forgetting that his body deals with it differently than mine. And don't forget that your elderly family members won't be able to cope with the heat well either. So when making plans outdoors or preparing for a heat emergency, keep in mind that not everyone will be able to cool down like you can. The more time that kids are outside or playing sports, the higher risk there is for a medical emergency related to heat. My son played flag football during the summer a few years ago. I don't know why we did that, but we did. So it was a good time, but it was so hot. Plus there were mosquitoes and snakes at the field. It was fun. It was fun. It doesn't sound like it, but it was. During events like this, we had to make sure that everybody had water, and then we even got one of those big water jug things and we filled it with Gatorade. By the way, it is always a good idea to have powdered Gatorade in your pantry. This is a simple way to make a mass amount of drinkable electrolytes really fast that does not require refrigeration or power to make. Keep that tip in mind for later. Of course, we know that if our kids are playing sports or going on a hike, that we need to be ready. But also, long car trips can be problematic for kids too. When I was growing up, I don't think they made cars that had air conditioning in the back seat. Like, we just all had to survive back there. The sun would beam into the back seat. It would be magnified by the car window, like some bully trying to burn ants with a magnifying glass or something. So if your kid is in the back seat, they may not be able to dissipate the heat like we can sitting up front. To help them stay cool, keep like a cold cloth in a cooler that you can give them so that if they start to overheat, you can cool them off. They can just put it on the back of their head or their neck to cool down. Just make sure that you watch them while they do it. And I think it goes without saying for this crowd, but don't leave your kids in the car. I know that's a thing that we did when we were kids, but please don't do it now. And I think if you're listening to the show, then you know not to do that. And the same goes for pets as well. But maybe you can share that with a friend or a neighbor to help protect their family. So now that we know what the heat can do to us, let's talk about practical ways that we can keep our homes cool in extreme heat. This will not only protect your family, but also save you some money on your electricity bill. First off, close your blinds during the day, especially on the side where the sun is. You'll be surprised at how much heat gets into your home through the windows, even if you have modern windows. This is great during the fall and winter, but this is something that we really need to avoid in the summer. If you have drapes or shades for the windows, close those as well. Next, seal up any air leaks around doors and windows. If you can see daylight around your front door, then it's not properly sealed. That means that all of your cool air is flowing out and that the heat is coming in, and that's not what we want. You can fix it yourself or call a handyman to come and do it for you. Always keep your windows closed unless you absolutely need to open them. This will keep the cool air in and the bad guys out. You know, summer is a time where people get desperate and someone may try to enter your home on the first floor if they see an open window. So let's just keep them shut. Fans are a very important part of cooling our homes. You may not know this, but your ceiling fan actually turns in two different directions. Clockwise will actually pull heat off of the ceiling and push it down to you. Great for the winter, terrible for the summer. So make sure that your fans are running counterclockwise to push the cool air down and move the heat up. There should be a switch on the side under the fan blades that will change the direction for you. If you are really having trouble, what you can do is you can fill a bowl with ice water and place a small, like bedroom fan to blow across it onto you. This will push cool, wet air into a small space for just a little while, and it feels amazing. If someone is having a problem with heat, this is something that you can do to really help them cool off. So also, I want to talk to you about how to keep your air conditioning running smoothly. And to be honest, I never thought we'd talk about this on the Secure Family podcast, but during extreme heat like we're having in 2025, our AC system is a life support system right now. So don't be afraid to invest some money and some time to keep your current system running. First, don't overtax your air conditioning trying to keep your house at 70 degrees at high noon. That is going to kill your system faster than anything. The best thing that you can do is keep it at 75 at its coolest. Some places will actually tell you 78, but I think that's entirely too high. But the point is, the less demand that you have on your AC unit, the better off everything is going to be. And yeah, I would rather be inside in 78 degrees than inside and it be 98 degrees because the air conditioning is broke. Like I said, been there. You can also do some basic maintenance for replacing your air filters. Dusty and clogged filters will make the motor work harder to intake new air. So new clean filters will increase the efficiency, but it's not a miracle worker that won't solve all of your problems, but it is one thing that you can do that's good for the system. And you don't have to buy those fancy, expensive filters either. As long as it fits inside the return, you're good to go. Also, if you have any unused rooms in your house, especially during the day, seal them off. The best thing that you can do is close the door to a room that you're not using. That means that the pantry and basement doors need to be closed. Plus, if you have a room over the garage, that door needs to be closed if you're not using it. Those rooms are hard to keep cool because the floor is actually all the heat that rises up in your garage. That's really hard for a system to do. Oh, by the way, keep your garage door closed too. This will keep out the heat and opportunistic thieves. Also, please pay attention to when your units are running because they may help you spot trouble. If your system is running constantly, that's not good for a variety of reasons. But if it's running and it's not pushing cold air, you have a problem that needs to be fixed right away. Most HVAC companies will prioritize a no AC call in the summer, and hopefully you'll get somebody there within 24 hours. In the event that your AC does go out, make sure that you use fans really wisely. And I'll give you a tip here. When Hurricane Helene hit, we didn't have power for days. And even though it was in the fall, the heat still built up in the house really, really well. I ran a bedroom fan off of my Blue Eddy portable power station for a few days. It worked great, but I realized I needed a second power station to run everything else. So now, one is just going to run a fan and the other one is just going to run whatever else we need. So lastly, let's talk about the units that are outside. If you have any sort of AC in your home, the condenser is located outside. Those are the units that draw air into the system, and they are very, very important. That means that you need to make sure that all of those are not being blocked by anything. So if you have things stored on top or around the unit, remove that for better airflow. Also cut down any weeds, tall grass, bushes, anything that would keep that air from getting in there. Those things need a lot of space. While it does cost you some money year-round, consider getting a maintenance plan from a reputable HVAC company. To me, that is money well spent. What they'll do is they will send a technician out twice a year to check your system, top everything off, make sure that it's in good working condition. So in the winter and the summer, when you need it the most, it's going to work for you. Plus, you can spot issues early, which I think is great. Before we go, let's talk about the signs of heat-related illness. Now, you guys know that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but there are some general signs that we all need to look for when spotting heat illness. The two big things that we need to worry about is heat exhaustion and heat stroke, and no, they are not the same. For heat exhaustion, you're looking for symptoms like dizziness, heavy sweating, nausea, feeling woozy. You can take care of this by using the cooling methods that we've talked about already, but it's important to stop when you feel these signs and take care of yourself. For heat stroke, which is the more dangerous of the two, look for high body temperature, confusion, and even like dry and damp, hot skin. It's an awful feeling. If that's the case, you need to go to an urgent care facility, the emergency room, or call 911. Do not downplay those symptoms. So now that we understand how to keep our homes cooler, how to keep our AC running, and how to respond to heat-related illness, Remember that extreme heat or heat that is atypical for your climate can really mess you up. But please don't think like me. Don't say, oh, it's only 92 today. I can do yard work. I'm not a wuss. But that heat index may actually be 105. So please be smart this summer, stay healthy, and stay cool. A friend of mine gave me 43 used gift cards that was part of a phone scam that totaled $63,000 stolen from his sister. It's happening increasingly to good, smart people. But here's the good news. You can protect yourself and your family. OmniWatch is a scam and identity protection service that monitors your data, alerts you to threats, and backs you up with insurance, including elite coverage for things like gift card scams. Try OmniWatch today with a $1 7-day trial at the link in the show notes. You've got this, and OmniWatch can help. Well, that's all that I have for the Secure Family Podcast for today. Take back your privacy and personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Delete Me is the official data removal service of the Secure Dad. If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new today, I'd be grateful if you'd follow the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or leave a 5-star review. Your support helps me reach more families, and that truly means a lot to me and my mission. OmniWatch is a scam and identity protection service that monitors your data, alerts you to threats, and backs you up with insurance. Try OmniWatch for 7 days for only $1. Get started at the link in the show notes. If you'd like to know more about the Secure Dad, join me on Instagram and TikTok. My username on both platforms is The Secure Dad. I'm Andy Murphy reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.